Let's do a sound check. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Let us know if we good. We good? All right, all praises, all praises. All right, happy new moon, everybody.
Happy new moon.
All praise to the Most High. We was able to make it to another one. The new moon, the time is flying fast. Seemed like we just had a new moon. But like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel. Like to send a greetings to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, the men, women, and children that's continually striving to be perfect in the commandments and the faith of Christ. So all praises. Today we gonna talk about how to celebrate Passover, especially for newcomers in the truth. Anybody that's new in the truth, I know you kind of ripping and running on how to celebrate this feast day, this celebration, this memorial coming up. So this is a class for that. This is a class for that, how to celebrate Passover. So we're not gonna be too long. We go ahead, get these scriptures and get to the feast. So let's open up with the reading of the law. Today's reading of the law is Leviticus 23.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, starting at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the seventh day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of an hin. And ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, unto the selfsame day that ye have bought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye bought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath, ye shall number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits of the Lord. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offer made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priests. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
All right, let's stop it there. So Leviticus 23 lists the feast days, the law of feasts. And you can catch a couple feast days outside of here in the Apocrypha and according and Esther for Purim. So these where you get 90% of the feast days, Leviticus chapter 23. Let's get Revelations 14 and 12. I'll jump right into it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
So always remember, it's about the commandments of God and the faith of Christ. That's what it's about. It's have to have both. If you got one, you lacking. Ain't that what the young boys say? You lacking. So now we're going to get into how to celebrate Passover, especially for the newcomer. How long? This what we're going to start off with. When do we celebrate Passover? Let's get Exodus chapter 12. And verse, let me look at it. Exodus 12 and 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
So this month is the first month. Go ahead.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So I say this month is the first month of the year. What month is it talking about? Let's get Exodus 13 and verse 4.
Exodus 13 and verse 4. This day came ye out in the month Abib.
So hit 3 for some context.
Exodus 13 and verse 3. And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt.
So he said, remember this day of the Exodus, when we came out of Egypt. Go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage.
Go ahead.
For by strength of hand of the Lord brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten.
There shall no leavened bread be eaten. So we see talking about Passover. Verse 4.
This day came ye out in the month Abib.
So the first month of the year is the month Abib. Let's see what that word Abib means. Let's Blue Letter Bible. Share that out. Let's see what that word Abib means. Exodus 13 and 4. Or Exodus 13 and then go to 4. Let's get that H24 Abib. And zoom in. Make sure you zoom in. So
H24. Aviv.
All right, I'll read outline of biblical usage.
This is the outline.
Yeah, read translation count above that.
Translation count. 8K, 8X, 8,000. 8X.
think that's 6. Well, go ahead.
8x.
Oh, you right there. Go ahead.
Abib. In the ear. Green ears of corn.
So I say green ears of corn. When you start seeing greenery, I read outline of biblical usage.
Fresh young barley ears. Barley. Month of ear forming. Of green of crop.
Of greening of crop. So we see that the month of Abib is when you start to see green. Like right now, if you look around, the grass is green now. For the last 3 or 4 months, it was yellow. It was dead. So now the first month of the year is spring. Is when things start back growing. Finish that off.
Of growing green. Abib. Month of Exodus and Passover. March or April.
So it's usually in March or April. March or April is the beginning of the year, not in the winter. So now we're getting the wind. The wind. Now let's get Leviticus 23. So it's in the first month of the year. Leviticus 23 verse 4.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
So it's at the 14th day at even of the first month. So now we're getting the when. It's the first month. When is the first month? When the grass, the crops, when everything start back growing. On what day? The 14th day at even. Verse 6.
Leviticus 23 and verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So we see that it's 7 days. So we got the when and the how long. It's 7 days. Now, just for a disclaimer, you will notice that a lot of people will celebrate Passover and then they will do another 7 days and call it the Feast of Unleavened Bread. A lot of our brothers and sisters, they'll do 7.5 days, which is wrong. It's totally wrong. It's not 7.5 days. It's not 8 days. They do Passover. They call it Passover. And then they do another 7 days and they say it's 2 feasts. It's the Feast of Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's false. That's wrong. Why do they do that? Let's read verse 5 again.
Leviticus 23 and verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
So they see that. They say the 14th day at evening is Passover. And then verse 6 is where they get confused at. Read verse 6.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
See, they say, it's Passover on the 14th, and then it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread on the 15th. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread.
So they would do Passover for that half a day, or for that first day, and then they would do another 7 days, which is 8 days. For people who do morning to morning, they do 7.5 days, which is false. How do we prove that? How do we prove that's false? Go ahead, Greg. How do we prove? Genesis 1 and 5, the evening and morning. No, not the morning to morning, not to prove that it's evening to evening. How do we prove that Passover is 7 days, only 7 days? Go ahead, sis. You was about to say something. Go ahead. Oh, good script. Let's get it. Luke 22:1. It's a cut. And it goes so bad to where some Israelites would say this was a translation error in the Greek.
Man.
Our brothers and sisters, look, it's 7 days. Nowhere do it say 8. Let's read that. Luke 22:1. Good script.
Luke chapter 22 and verse 1. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh.
So it said the feast of unleavened bread. Remember, they think it's 2 feasts. They think it's Passover and the feast of unleavened bread. So here he said the feast of unleavened bread drew near. Go ahead.
Which is called the Passover.
What's the feast of unleavened bread called?
The Passover.
The Passover. It's the same feast. It's only one feast. It's only one feast. Let's get another cut. Get Ezekiel 45 and 21. These are pure cuts. Because the brother said, I heard the brother say, well, that was a mistranslation in the Greek. The New Testament was originally written in the Hebrew. Well, how about let's go to the Hebrew and the Old Testament. Let's see what the Old Testament say. The Old Testament, Kaden, what language was the Old Testament written in? Hebrew. So the Old Testament is written in Hebrew. Let's see what the Hebrews say. Ezekiel 45:21.
Ezekiel 45 and verse 21. In the first month, in the 14th day of the month, ye shall have the Passover.
It said, ye shall have the Passover. Go ahead.
A feast.
Well, the Passover is a feast. Go ahead.
Of 7 days.
Of how many days?
Of 7 days.
The Passover is a 7-day feast. It's a pure cut. Read it again.
In the first month, in the 14th day of the month, ye shall have the Passover, a feast of 7 days.
So the Passover is a feast of 7 days. That lines right up with the Greek. That lines right up with the Luke 22:1, right? It lines right up. Was that it on that?
No.
Go ahead.
Unleavened bread shall be eaten.
You see that? So Passover is a feast of unleavened bread for 7 days. Now, so we see the when. When is the when? The first month on the 14th day. For how long? 7 days, not 8. Not 7.5. 7 days. Why do they say it's 2 feasts? We read it in, read it again, Leviticus 23, 5 and 6. This is what we go explain that Leviticus 23. We gotta explain it. We just can't let them go off and not understand it. So we gotta explain that Leviticus 23, 5 and 6. So this scripture is where they go off at. Read it again.
Leviticus 23, verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
So they see, that's the Passover. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread.
So they say, see, it's 2 feasts. So why do it say on the 15th day it's the feast of unleavened bread? Why do it say that? Amar? Why do it say that? You see it say the 14th day, and then the next scripture say the 15th day. Why do it say that? What you say? Help them out, Gray. On both days. Well, yeah, on the 14th is just the lamb. The 15th is unleavened bread, yeah. But let me show y'all what I'd say. Help them out. That's close, but not quite. Let's try to explain it a little more with the script. Let's go to Numbers 28. So let's see, why do it say in the 15th day? Numbers 28 and we gonna start at 16.
The book of Numbers, chapter 28 and verse 16. And in the 14th day of the first month is the Passover
So we see on the 14th day of the first month is the Passover. Go ahead.
of the Lord. And the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten.
So let's see it say the same thing in Leviticus 23. So why do it say the 15th day? Let's keep reading. Verse 18.
Verse 18. In the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no manner of servile work therein. But ye shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto the Lord. 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish.
So you're supposed to make a sacrifice on the 14th day at evening. What do you sacrifice? The lamb. So what day is this talking about? The 15th day. Let's prove it. Jump to verse. Well, keep going. Verse 20. Where we at? We at 20? Yeah.
And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deals shall ye offer for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram. A several tenth deal shalt thou offer for every lamb, throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 goat for a sin offering, to make an atonement for you.
So this is what we supposed to be offering. Now it's going to tell us when do we offer this. Go ahead, verse 23.
Ye shall offer these beside the burnt offerings in the morning.
And what? When?
In the morning.
In the morning. In the morning is the 15th day. So we supposed. So when you, the reason why I say the 15th day is because every morning for those 7 days you have to do these offering. On the 14th day at evening, you just offering the lamb, the sacrifice, which is the lamb. And then that next morning, 15th day, you have to do these offerings every morning throughout the 7 days. Read that again, verse 23.
Numbers 28 and 23. Ye shall offer these beside the burnt offerings in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering.
Go ahead.
After this manner, ye shall offer daily throughout the 7 days.
You see that? He said you have to offer this daily throughout the 7 days. So when do it start? On the morning of the 15th. So that's why it say on the 14th at evening is the Passover, and on the 15th is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Because for the rest of the days, you're doing that offering in the morning. I hope our brothers and sisters understand that. It's not 8 days. It never say 8 days. Nowhere. It don't say the Passover and then another 7 days. That's not what it say. So all praise for the Most High for that. Let's finish that verse 24.
Numbers 28 and 24. After this manner, ye shall offer daily throughout the 7 days the meat of the sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. It shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering.
When we do that, every morning of the 7 days. That's when we were supposed to do that. But we don't have to do it now because we don't sacrifice today. Now, let's get Exodus 12. Let's see when all these days are. Exodus 12 and 14.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 14. And this
So now, if you want to see if you're celebrating the feast right, all you have to do is read this scripture here and see if the days line up. Watch this, verse 14.
Exodus 12 and verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations.
So a memorial is a remembrance. We're supposed to be remembered. That's why every time we come to our feast days, we got to read the story that the feast is about, because it's a remembrance. We're supposed to be remembering. It's a memorial. Go ahead.
Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Verse 15.
7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
So we're supposed to remove the leaven out our house. And it's a physical side and a spiritual side to it. Verse 16.
And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation.
So the first day is a Sabbath. Go ahead.
And the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
So the only work we can do in this 7 days is cooking on them Sabbaths. Go to verse 18.
Exodus 12 and 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening.
So it's letting us know the exact days. It's saying the 14th at evening to the 21st at evening. Now we got the exact days. If you do it 8 days, you go in where? On the 22nd at evening. So now we see is the Lord is giving us the exact 7 days. If your feast is ending at the 22nd on even, then you did it wrong. If your feast is ending on the 23rd at even, you did it wrong. So we got the when and the how long. It's exact. All you gotta do is say, do our feast start at 14th that evening and go to the 21st that evening? If it goes like that, and it's because that's a perfect 7 days. If it goes like that, you know you did. That's the first sign that you did the feast on the right days. That's a perfect sign. If your feast is ending on the 22nd or the 23rd, you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right. So now the next thing is the meal. What is the meal? Let's go to Exodus 12, verse 1. Start at 3.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And in the household, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls.
So you have to have a certain amount of lamb. A certain amount of lamb. Go ahead.
Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Verse 6.
And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire.
So it say it has to be roast with fire. Means barbecue. Roast with fire. You put that thing on the grill. Ain't no boiling it. Ain't no what they call that? The George Foreman grill. Ain't none of that. You take that thing and you gotta use fire. Roast it with fire. Go ahead.
Roast with fire and unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. They shall eat it.
So that's how we eat the lamb. We eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. That's how we eat the lamb. Some people say, you know, we're just eating this. We're just eating lamb and bread and bitter herb. but you can add stuff to the meal. This is how you eat the sacrifice. This is the sacrifice. This is how you eat the sacrifice. You can add food. Some it's this is no sin or nothing. But I know them. They be hungry as a mug after Passover.
Right.
The whole congregation still hungry.
Right. As long as it ain't got no leaven in it,
right?
You can eat. You can add what you want.
Exactly.
Have a whole.
They always everybody still hungry.
Sitting there looking crazy, man.
Because you can't cook too much lamb because you gonna waste it. You can only eat. You got to burn the rest. You can't save it to like we gonna eat the rest of this tomorrow.
Nope.
Nah.
Oh, you gotta roast you some chicken too. You know.
You're right. You eat them turkey ribs or something. But the sacrifice, you can't leave it. You supposed to eat it with bread and bitter herbs. That's it. That's the basics. That's what you have to have. But you add to it. Yeah, I could be for our people. What we call super brews. They be hungry as a mug. A feast, you ain't supposed to be still hungry on a feast. That don't even make sense. How you still hungry on a feast? So read verse 9.
Exodus 12 and verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the pertinence thereof.
Go ahead.
And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning.
So you got to be careful how much you cook, because you can't leave it nothing until the morning. Whatever's left over, you have to burn it. We have to put it back on the grill and let the grill burn it on out. Ain't no we gonna save this for tomorrow. So it's hard to try to cook enough lamb where everybody go get full, and you got to make sure it ain't none for the morning, because we in captivity and lamb is expensive. Some people be burning up because they know they still gonna be hungry. They cooking 3 whole lambs and burning 2 of them. Read that again, verse 10.
And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
You gotta burn it up. Why? Go to Deuteronomy 16. Why do we gotta burn it up? Deuteronomy 16, let's hit verse 3.
Deuteronomy 16 and verse 3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction.
The bread of affliction. Go ahead.
For thou camest from out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the day of thy life.
Verse 4.
And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days.
So it says you can't even be found with leavened bread. That's why they say get it out your house. You can't even be found with it. Go ahead.
Neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrifice.
So it say the flesh which you sacrifice. Go ahead.
The first day at evening.
The first day at evening. The 14th day at evening. Go ahead.
Remain all night until the morning.
Because that's the sacrifice. That's why you got to burn it. It's the sacrifice. So that's what it is. The unleavened bread, the bitter herbs, and the lamb. That's the sacrifice part. But you can add the meal. You can add more food to that for the feast. That's just the sacrifice part of the feast. You're not supposed to still be hungry on after the damn feast. Excuse my French. Let's get so now that's the meal. That's the basis of the meal. Well, you can add anything to it. It just has to be unleavened, no leaven in it. Exodus 12 and 15. So now we have to eat unleavened bread every day for 7 days. Some people get creative with it. Some people make bread pies, cakes. They make all type of stuff. But you have to eat unleavened bread for 7 straight days. That's a commandment. You have to eat. It's not just that first day. You have to eat unleavened bread the whole 7 days. So let's get that. Exodus 12 and 15.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Meaning that soul shall die. Whoever eat leaven, you got to eat unleavened the whole 7 days. Was that it on that? Yeah. Jump to verse 20.
Exodus 12 and verse 20. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So it say, eat nothing leavened, you shall eat unleavened bread the whole 7 days. Now, get precept Exodus 13 and 6.
Exodus chapter 13 and verse 6. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to the Lord.
Go ahead.
Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days.
So that's a commandment. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days. It don't say how much every day, but as long as you eating it, it has to be every day. 7 straight days. Go ahead.
And there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters.
All right, so now let's get to the next thing. So the next thing is the Sabbaths. The Sabbaths in the 7 days. Get Exodus 12. Well, let's get Leviticus 23 and 7. So there are 3 Sabbaths that week of Passover. You got the first day and a last day Sabbaths, and then you got the weekly Sabbath that's in between those 7 days. So let's get Leviticus 23 and 7.
Leviticus 23 and verse 7. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So see that? So it's saying the first day is a holy convocation, and the 7th day is a holy convocation, meaning a Sabbath. A Sabbath. So we have those Sabbaths in between. But those are feast day Sabbaths, meaning you can cook. Go back to Exodus 12 to show that we can cook. Exodus 12, and it is verse 16.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 16. And the first day there shall be a holy convocation.
So the first day is a Sabbath. Go ahead.
And in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation.
The last day is a Sabbath. Go ahead.
To you. No manner of work shall be done in them.
So you can't work. Go ahead.
Save that which every man must eat.
So save means accept. Accept that which every man must eat. Go ahead.
That only may be done of you.
That's the only thing work that can be done of you. So you can't cook on those feast days, on those Sabbaths. You can't cook. Now, I want to touch more on that point of, can we eat more than unleavened bread? Because I heard something. Now, there's people out there that say you just can eat that. You just can eat the unleavened bread, the lamb, and a bit of herb. But they say you can eat more, but it can only be unleavened bread. They say you can only eat unleavened bread. Now, we our brothers and sisters. Now, the good thing about all these doctrines is Christ gonna come back and straighten this all out. But I don't know where they got that from. Because if you can only eat unleavened bread for 7 days, you're gonna be hungry as hell. Unleavened bread, they said this all we can eat is unleavened bread. Now, some people, we'll pray for them. Let's get Exodus 12. Let's prove something real quick. So let's kill that notion right there. It's a feast. We have to understand it's a feast. It's a feast. Let's get Exodus 12 and 37.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children.
So the point I want y'all to pay attention to this, and y'all take good notes on this. You see where it say they journey from Ramses to Succoth. So we gonna hold this spot because we coming back. But what day did they leave Ramses? Let's see. Hold this spot. Go to Numbers 33 and verse 3. Let's see what day was it they left Ramses.
Numbers chapter 33 and verse 3. And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month.
So they left Ramses on the 15th day of the first month. They left it that morning. That's when they left Ramses. Go ahead.
On the morrow after the Passover.
On the morning after the Passover. Morrow means morning. So on the morning after the Passover is when they left Ramses. Go ahead.
The children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians.
So it was the 15th day that we read in back in Exodus 12. So let's go back to Exodus 12 and read 37 again. Now that we know exactly what day it was.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth.
What day was it? The 15th day. The morrow after the Passover was sacrificed. Go ahead.
About 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children.
Go ahead.
And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
Now let's see what did they do when they was in when they left Ramsey and they got to Succoth. Verse 39.
And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt.
So when they was in Succoth, they baked unleavened bread, unleavened cakes when they got there. Now some people will say, see, they only ate unleavened bread on the 15th day. That's all they ate. They didn't eat no whole meal. But all you got to do is keep reading the scripture. Why did they only eat unleavened bread when they got there? Let's see. Go ahead.
And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened.
Because it was not leavened. That's why the dough that they had, it was unleavened. So they was able to make some bread because they was hungry. Go ahead.
Because they were thrust out of Egypt.
They was thrust out of Egypt. They left Egypt in a haste. Go ahead.
And could not tarry. Neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals.
So they didn't prepare any victuals. Put that up. Blue Letter Bible. Let's see what that word victual is. BlueLetterBible.org. Yeah, go and share it out first. Let's see what that means, that victual word is. Exodus 12 and 39. Is it sharing out? All right, go back. Exodus 12 and 39. Get that word victual. That's it right there.
Strong's H 6720. Seidah.
Scroll down.
Second entry. Seidah.
What do that outline of biblical use?
Provision, food.
They say the only reason they just ate unleavened bread because they didn't have time to prepare any other food. So if they would have had prepared any other food, they would have done what with it? They would have ate it. The Bible, well, I ain't gonna say the Bible is not calculus, but sometimes it can be hard for people to understand. They would have ate it. So you can eat more than just the unleavened bread. Read it again, verse 39. Y'all understand that? It's not hard. Read it again.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 39.
Don't let people tell you, you can only eat unleavened bread for 7 days. And they'll read you this scripture. Verse 39.
Exodus 12 and verse 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened.
Because they used that because there was no leaven in the dough. Go ahead.
Because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared themselves any victual.
They hadn't prepared themselves any food. They didn't prepare any food. So they ate the unleavened bread that they had. Remember, they on foot. In the wilderness. They on foot. So they ate what they had, which was unleavened bread. But if they would have had time to prepare food, they would have been eating more than that. So you can eat more with it's a feast. You can eat more with it. All right. So now let's get the meaning of, because it say no leaven shall be in your house. Let's get Galatians 5. We got to get the spiritual side. So that's how you celebrate Passover the physical way. Now, how do you do it the spiritual way? Galatians 5 and 9.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 9. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
It say a little leaven will make the whole lump leaven. Go ahead.
I have confidence in you through the Lord that ye will be none otherwise minded, but that he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be.
Now let's get 1 Corinthians 5 and 6. So what is the leaven that we're supposed to be getting out? We got to get the regular leavening that's in the food. We got to get that out of the house. But you got to get a leaven out your spiritual house. Your spiritual house is your body, your mind. So this is the spiritual side. Verse 5.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
That's what we just read in Galatians. Go ahead.
Purge out therefore the old leaven.
So it say purge out that leaven. Purge it out. Just how you purge your house with the leaven. Purge this leaven out your body, out your mind. Go ahead.
That ye may be a new lump.
Because you're going to be a new lump. Go ahead.
As ye are unleavened.
Go ahead.
For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
So now we see the sacrifice is now Christ. He's now the Passover now. Go ahead.
Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Let us keep the feast. Go ahead.
Not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
So the leaven is malice and wickedness. So the spiritual side of the Passover is getting out anger for your brothers and sisters, forgiving, asking for forgiveness. Remember, it's a new year. Don't start the year off with the same malice you had last year. You just gonna have another year of affliction. So 1 Corinthians 5 and 8. You just gonna have a year of affliction. So you gotta get that malice and wickedness is sin. Get that sin out of you. Purge it out. Become that new lump. Don't celebrate the feast without being repented, is what it's saying. Come to the feast repented, which we should be working on all year, but it makes it more, what's the word? More, help me out. What's the word? More what? It's like more, say it again. Sincere. It's more, it's like more, It's like imperative. It's like more. That's what you said. What you say? Beneficial. Imperative is not the word. It's like more severe. It's like more dire. It's like you waiting till the last minute. Is what I'm trying to say. Don't wait till the last minute. Oh, Passover coming up. Let me start my apology tour. That's not really sincere. You know, like, so don't make it last minute is what I'm trying to say. Like, we should be doing that all year. But there might just be a situation that happened. Maybe it happened in the 12th month where you didn't have that time to fix it. But that just let us know, hey, let's get this worked out before Passover. So we can celebrate the Passover, the feast, in sincerity and in truth. So we can't be waiting till the last minute. Let's read that again, verse 8.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven.
Not with that old leaven, not with that old malice and that old sin. Go ahead.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
But with what?
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
With sincerity and truth. So it don't make, I'm gonna tell y'all this, everybody online, everybody here, it don't make no difference if you didn't purge out the leaven out the leaven of malice out your mind, or leaven of sin out your body. Purge not getting the leaven out your house ain't gonna mean nothing. Getting that leaven out your house, you rushing to get the leaven out your house and you ain't worked on nothing else, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. You got the leaven out your house, but you full of malice and wickedness. Talking about happy Passover. Nah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Let's get so now, what is the other thing that leaven is? Let's look up that word leaven. Go to blueletterbible.org. Turn back out and let's get 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. It's G2219. Scroll down. You can play that.
Strong's G2219. Zume.
Let me ask Kaden. It say, so this number is G2219. What do the G stand for? Help him out, Gray. Greek. When you look up words in the Old Testament, it's gonna have what letter? H. What do the H stand for? Hebrew. That's one. Learn something new every day. All right, scroll down. Read the outline of biblical usage.
Leaven, metaphor of inveterate mental and moral corruption.
So it say of innovate of mental and moral corruption is the metaphor of leaven. That's what it means in our body. Mental and moral corruption. Go ahead.
Viewed in its tendency to infect others.
Scroll down. Let me see. It was something. I think what I'm looking for, it came out the Strong's book. So when you have the Strong Concordance, that big thick book like this, it also say of corrupt doctrine. Of corrupt doctrine. Now, so the 11, you also have to purge out corrupt doctrine. Let's prove that. Get Matthew 16 and 6.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 6. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees.
You see that? He said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Beware means be cautious. This is like a warning. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Go ahead.
And of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith.
So when he told them that, they was like, what? We ain't take no bread from the Pharisees. We ain't get no leavened bread from the Pharisees. What Christ talking about? Go ahead. They didn't understand what he was saying. Go ahead.
He said, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have bought no bread? Do ye not yet understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up?
They like, y'all don't remember this? Y'all don't understand what I say, but where the leaven of the Pharisees? Go ahead.
How it is that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread.
He said, I'm not talking about literal bread. Go ahead.
That ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
So they like, I'm not talking about literal bread. Now he's going to tell them what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread.
So he wasn't talking about bread. Go ahead.
But of the doctrine.
But of what?
Of the doctrine.
But of the doctrine. Go ahead.
Of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
So he said, so you also have to purge out corrupt doctrine. Just think if our brothers and sisters, our Israelite brothers and sisters, each year they have to purge out corrupt doctrine that they following. That's what we're supposed to do. You shouldn't be, your doctrine should get better. If you started off with a weird Israelite doctrine, each year you should be purging it out. How do you know you have to purge it out? Because it's making you more, have more envy. It's making you hate on your brothers and your sisters. It's making you backbite. This doctrine making you, the stuff that you believe in is making you things worse for you. You keep going through affliction. So that means your doctrine has to be sound. You believe in multiple wives, but you keep having these do you want to marry me circle yes or no marriages. When you have a marriage like that, what is it easy to do? Walk away. Walk away. What you gonna take would you marry me yes or no? You gonna take that to court? Our brothers and sisters is marriages like that right now in Israel. And then when they get mad at each other, they just leave each other. Because you know with Esau court, it's hard to get the divorce. It costs money to get a divorce. That means something wrong with your doctrine. You're getting married and divorced 4 times a year. Sisters going to new congregation. No, y'all not divorced if no adultery was going on. That's not how it works. You need to look at your doctrine because it's making you go through Some of our brothers and sisters go through more in the truth than they was going through in the world. Why? Because the doctrine is off. The doctrine is full of leaven. Full of leaven. But each Passover, you supposed to be purging out the leaven. Read that one more time, verse 7. Was it 17? No, 12.
Matthew 16 and verse 12. Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
So our doctrine is supposed to be sound doctrine and not the doctrine of men. So anything that we say that is a law is supposed to make your life better. Be swift to hear, slow to speak. That's a good law. What it's going to do? It's going to stop you from having arguments. What's the first thing happen to your body when you having an argument? Y'all probably don't know. Y'all should know.
Your blood pressure go up.
And what happened? When your blood pressure go up, what happens? You get a headache. That's not good for you. Because we're not supposed to be having that anger. Say furious anger was not made for men. Your body changes. Be swift to hear. Be blessed are the peacemakers. Your doctrine supposed to make your life better, not worse. It's a brother. The brothers had a doctrine you can smoke weed. This brother, he was in the world. This man ain't touched weed. He got into the truth. Was in that doctrine. Now he a weed. Because they told him, man, it's lawful according to God. Now they smoking weed and reading scriptures.
That's because so many of our people use the commandments as a opportunity to say that, to do the things that they want to do. That's the sad thing about it, man. A lot of people come in, they abuse the word. They want to do the things I guess they wouldn't have done in the world. I don't know.
They levitate to the doctrine that seduces them.
Yeah.
You know, if a whoremonger, he gonna go to the doctrine, say multiple wives. So he's still gonna be a whoremonger in the truth. Sisters coming and going from his house. Coming and going. Sister being in the truth for 15 minutes. He like, you my wife. She don't even know what a wife is.
That's deep right there, man.
So that shows that your doctrine is leaven. It's too much leaven in your doctrine. It's too much leaven. So this is another commandment. We're supposed to purge out corrupt doctrine as well. So it's malice, sin, and corrupt doctrine. That's what we purge out. We're supposed to examine your doctrine every year. Every year, we examine our doctrine. And say, is it making us worse or better? Is our understanding making our lives worse or better? And if it's worse, if you was better off in the world than you is in the truth, you got some purging to do. So all praise to the Most High. That was today's class. Let's see if we got any new people online for the shout outs. All right, okay. Nobody. So Passover, we got Passover is April 11th. April 11th through the 18th, I believe. April 11th through the 18th. So y'all be looking out. Hey, have a happy Passover. Do your preparations. Purge out your house. Purge out the spiritual side. And be ready. Be ready to have a good time. Be ready to have a good week. It's a healthy week. That's another thing. When you're not eating any leaven, it's also a healthy thing as well. So have a good time. Remember Christ. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over that as well. We're going to go over the story of Passover throughout the whole week. Throughout the whole week, we're going to read a little part of the Exodus. On the Sabbath, we're going to go over the story of Christ, how he died on Passover because he was the Lamb of God. We're going to go over that. So, yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about it a lot because it's a memorial. It's a memorial. So, all praise to the Most High. Happy new moon. Let's close it out with the memorial of Mary Magdalene.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 26, starting at verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this woman have done be told for memorial of her.
All praise to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel, the one who led the children of Israel out of Egypt with a mighty hand, the one who said, circumcise yourself is a sign of my covenant, the one who created the heavens, the moon, the stars, everything that we see. All praise to the Most High, the God of Israel. Happy new moon. And with that, I say shalom.